Welcome back to ESPN's live coverage of the CLR Windy City Classic, the 6th PBA event of the season. The 7th next week, the Great Lakes Classic, just outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Again, live here on ESPN at 1. The following week, we had Baltimore, Maryland, the Lumber Liquidators Championship. That one also on ESPN. So Brad Angelo, the 5 seed, has moved on to take on that man, the 3 seed, Mika Koivuniemi. Any thoughts as we head into this one, Randy?
Major Mika, all the experience. He's won titles in, 11 different countries. Fresh off of his win a couple of months ago in Japan at the Daido Japan Cup. Made a show a couple of weeks ago in Taylor. You know he's always going to bring it. He's tough mentally as well as physically.
Angelo started game 1 with 7 straight strikes. Was a little heavy on the head pin right there. Almost hit it flush. Not the same start.
And the lanes are going to go through transition each time a new player comes on the lanes, depending on what type of surface they're using on their equipment, where they're playing on the lane. The guy coming on gets practice. Brad gets practice on an alternate lane, not on the TV pair. The lanes are going to change right in front of him. Brad needs to make the adjustments necessary. And right there on that spare, he's going to get a little bit of an idea of where to go.
So up steps now Koivuniemi, making his 3rd championship round appearance in the season's first 6 events. This will be at a minimum his 4th top 9 finish of the season as he seeks his 9th title.
And Rob, you know, I mentioned at the top of the show that you and your wife had twins. Well, our replay technician who's with us week in and week out, Steve Grant and his wife Betsy, they had twins about 7 months ago. Jason, Caden, there's babies everywhere.
I know, it's in the boiling water. Steve was giving me some twin advice. I had no idea what he was talking about, but I just nodded and blinked my eyes.
Congratulations to Steve and Betsy.
All right, so match 2 starts off with spares for both of our competitors. Now let's see how they respond in the second.
Mika Koivuniemi playing a completely different line. He's going to go much straighter than any of the other competitors today, and he feels that that's an advantage. If he can get his ball to the pocket playing there, he doesn't think anybody else can play that line, and he gets it done with loft. Check out the loft on this shot here.
And again, leaves one standing.
2-pin, 2-pin, both shots. Remember, again, very slick pattern, 44 feet, and he's not able to get his ball to tip up to the pocket yet. He's going to make an adjustment, whether it's with speed, angle, or maybe going to a different piece of equipment.
Missed only one single pin spare this week, and that remains the same. Number 2 on the money list this season is Mika.
$50,000 payday in Japan didn't hurt any.
He became the PBA's 37th millionaire last week at the Lake County, Indiana Classic with his 9th place finish. Angelo working off a spare. Seven stands tall. A few weeks back, Angelo was at a gym spotting his buddy who was doing chest press with the dumbbells. His buddy was struggling, and the weights came down while Angelo was spotting him, and the result was 2 bulging discs, and he may have torn a ligament in his back. 2 weeks ago, he was telling us he couldn't even get out of bed, and he was seriously considering deferring, taking the season off. Somebody talked to me and said, hey, you got to see this guy, Dr. Brierly here in Lockport, New York. Dr. Brierly teaches active release therapy, ART, and the recovery for him has been unbelievable, he's been telling us.
talk about the shark pattern. In this part of the lane, anything right of this is out of bounds. The big hook guys are going to be in here, and they're going to be slow wheeling it. Mika is trying to go real straight right on the edge of that oil line, but yet to get his ball to finish hard enough in the back part of the lane. Brad Angelo, in talking about his sore back, I think that's a plus for him because he's got to be a little bit softer at the release point with his hand to get his ball to tip up the right way.
There we go. Also, mentally, if you know you're injured, you kind of have that thought of like, oh, nothing's really expected of me. Let's go out, let's have fun, and let's be loose. And he started off wonderfully loose and just wonderful in game one, opening with 7 straight strikes to really pull away early.
You know, and for a guy that doesn't slide very much, Brad Angelo's slide foot really comes to a complete halt right as he's letting go of it. That puts a lot of extra strain on your back as well. That plant and hit type of move.
And again, really took out the head pin, but that was about it.
The first 2 shots, Rob, went light. Mika makes an adjustment. This ball goes high. And right now, I think Mika's saying to himself, maybe this was a bad move on my part to try to play the lanes this way.
Let's see if he adjusts. Not on this cleanup here, but on the next effort.
Well, he'll have to make a big adjustment. If he's going to make any move at all, he's going to have to get away completely from what he's trying to do right now. He's going to have to move in where Brad Angelo is.
So spare, spare, spare for Mika. And this our Motel 6 matchup, 5v3 seed. Season average in favor of Mika. He's already won 1 title this year, that coming in the season opener across the Pacific in Japan. Looked better.
Yeah, and then when it gets there, it goes week 10. These are all really bad signs. And I know that Mika came in with a game plan, and he talked to us about it last night. He said, you know, I'm going to play a different part of the lane, and I think I'll have it all to myself, is what he told us. And right now, it's not looking good.
He also told us about an adjustment on how he grasps the ball this season, pushing it more with the palm of his hand, clearing the thumb faster. I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds very good and technical.
Well, that's what he's crediting all of his great success this season to, is that he made a little bit of a change in the thumb pitch, and he's trying to push the ball more with the palm of his hand at release, and that's made his thumb much faster out of the thumb hole. And he says, you know what, since I started doing that, worked real hard during the offseason, that's why I'm bowling as well as I'm bowling.
Angelo up 3, working on a strike. Strike, strike.
Ebonite Digitrax is a device that computes digital analysis of ball motion on the lane. We have these numbers week in and week out. Brad Angelo changed balls from the first game. His ball speed's around 16.5. Mika's 19 miles an hour. Mika's at about the 14th board at the arrows. Brad Angelo the 26th board at the arrows. And Mika's lofting at about 6.5 feet out onto the lane. Two completely different ways of playing this oil pattern, and the only way you experience something like this is to join a PBA Experience League or bowl out here on tour.
You're good. Angelo up 13. Oh, borderline Brooklyn strike. Stare it down and enjoy it. When things are going well, they're going well.
There's 2 things that Mika Koivuniemi really hates, and that is, 1, getting beat by a lefty, and 2, having his opponent do that to him.